Hi, I'm David Cooper with ABC News, and I'm here with Sarah Collins and her mother. Sadly, they're here under tragic circumstances. Their sister and daughter were killed during the 16th Street Baptist Church bombings. Sarah, you were there with the four girls when they died. How did you feel during the bombings? How did you feel?
Well, right before the bombing happened, I went downstairs to use the restroom. And while I was using it, next thing you know, I heard this loud explosion. And then I was on the ground, screaming for help, wondering where my sister was at because there was a bomb that just happened and it was chaos everywhere. Blood was splattered everywhere. It was just a sight, and I don't want to live it.
Miss Collins, how did you feel when you were told the news?
At first, I didn't know how to feel because finding out that your daughter got killed from a bombing that was planned was really devastating. You try your best to protect your kids from the dangers of the world, but by bringing them to church. And for this case, I don't really know what to say too much because I brought her to church to be protected and she died. I didn't really get a chance to tell her I love her before she died. I wasn't even there when she died. And so...
What will you two do to remember her, since it's such a strong thing that happened? Miss Collins?
Well, to remember her passing, we just stick together as a family. I used to always be, skeptical with them going outside and all the time, but, I feel like I should be around them more often, because in a situation, we just have to, pray for better days because the way, if we're going through a situation like this, it doesn't time that you don't get over it over a day or over an hour or over a week. Sometimes it can take months or even years to get over a death of someone you really love and care about. And so, we're taking it day by day. Honestly, it's just time. We just need time to recover, time to get ourselves together mentally, emotionally, and spiritually too, because you going to church and you don't expect it to happen before service starts. She was just going to Sunday school. But most definitely, to remember her, we're gonna stay strong, accomplish our goals that we have planned before she passed, and just do something that we know that she's gonna be proud of.
For you, Sarah, how would you like to remember your sister?
Well, just live my life how she would live her life. Have fun, keep a smile on your face, and be kind to everyone who does unjust things to you. Just love everyone that you come in contact with. I think that's the biggest thing that she will want, even after, the situation that's happened, because of racial terror and because of the fact that we were threatened and bombed because of our color. She still wants us to love people the way we love ourselves. I think that's her biggest goal now, and that's how we have to see her and remember her.
Thank you, Sarah. Miss Collins. I'm David Cooper, ABC News.
People really don't understand, you in a bombing at the age of 12. That did a lot to me.
What started as a typical Sunday morning nearly 50 years ago quickly took a deadly turn. 4 girls ranging in age from 11 to 14 were killed after white supremacists planted a bomb in the Birmingham 16th Street Baptist Church. The faces of those 4 little girls have since been seen in movies and history books. But a 5th girl, Sarah Collins, made it out alive.
She wasn't a willing victim for the civil rights movement, and yet she has been an incredibly powerful person, though she herself has been forgotten in the history books.
Karen Umbus helped organize a campaign around Collins' story, a story that for years went unheard.
Well, back there, I wouldn't get out there much and speaking. And like what I said, I was going through a lot. I know it kept me afraid, and it kept me nervous and so fearful.
The emotional pain of losing her sister and the physical effects, blindness and facial scars, kept Collins quiet. But now she's found her voice and finds peace in teaching a new generation life lessons.
My message is, you don't judge people by their color, you know. You just love people, you know, just show them love.
It took 50 years, but the story's coming out, and I'm really happy that it is. I think it's an important story for people to know.
Good evening. I am Joseph Whitaker for ABC, conducting the panel on the discussion of the recent bombing of the church in Birmingham, Alabama. My heart and my condolences to the family. It's a tragedy. With me on my discussion panel is Julia Cross, Angela Davis, and Jacob Blake. To conduct the first question for the panel. This goes out to Julia Cross. How did you feel when it first happened, when you first heard that it happened?
Mr. Whitaker, I briefly remember being in one of the offices downstairs when it happened. And I wasn't too sure if it was gunshots or if it was an actual bombing until I heard the people running and screaming. And at that moment, I just tried to gather as many folk and children as I could to get out of the church. And it was a very scary moment for me. I didn't really know. It was just, it happened so fast, and we just tried. Me and the elders who were with me at the moment, we just tried to get as many people out as we could because we didn't know if it was another one coming or, what would be next.
Angela Davis, anything you'd like to add?
We were actually holding a meeting for one of the future marches that we were planning on having that was going to be revolved around the church. And as the meeting was going on, one of our fellow workers, advocates that was a part of this movement, informed me. And to know that someone will find enjoyment in doing this is very disturbing and hard to cooperate with right about now.
Mr. Blake, anything you'd like to add?
Well, personally, I'm also quite devastated by the news of the loss of the unnecessary loss of life during this tragic event. I will say that. However, to get a point across.
Mr. Blake, why did it happen?
Why did it happen? Well, call it a sign of the times.
Would you care to elaborate?
Yeah, absolutely. And I say that simply because, anybody that's taken a step outside can see the tension that we have here between the two communities. We have a white community, we have a black community. It's only just a matter of time until somebody, shall we say, boiled the pot over. And this is just the latest.
Ms. Davis, care to comment?
So you said that this was something that got the point that you guys were looking for across. So what point was that you were trying to make that involved little children?
The point is that the white community does not want your community anywhere near ours. We don't want you as a part of America.
The America that was never yours, that you stole from the Native Americans.
Technically speaking, with that logic, it's technically not your America either.
I know that it was not my America, but
Oh, yeah, wholeheartedly.
So how would you imply that you don't want me in a community that is not mine, but you consider yours?
Who runs that community? Who runs America? Ask yourself that.
People
And
who-
really ask yourself then, if it isn't really mine, if it's even partly yours.
To get back to the questions, my next question is to Ms. Cross. Do you believe that this could have been avoided?
Well, in Birmingham, you know, we are doing a lot of things with the civil rights activists, trying to make a lot of positive changes. Do I think that it could have been avoided? I knew that with change, some people were not going to be in agreement with it, and that some folk just have evil in their hearts to do bad to others. But did I think that it would result in 4 innocent young women losing their lives? No, I did not. And I think that the bombing could have been avoided. I just don't understand why the church was targeted.
Do you believe, Ms. Cross, a violent retaliation is imminent?
No, I don't. You know, I believe firmly that Jesus is love. And, you know, I believe that love conquers all. So I don't believe that it's going to take a violent reaction to get problems solved. I don't believe that.
Ms. Davis, do you believe a violent retaliation is imminent?
Yes. I don't want to go against what she says because I can agree to a certain extent that violence is something that should be considered unnecessary. But how are you going to just cope with continuous being followed around by police officers? You can't drink from a certain fountain. Just by the color of my skin, I am stopped. Even though I'm very light skinned, I'm still stopped for reasons of me just existing. I'm still seen as someone's enemy who brought me over from my home to use me. And now that all of this has been done, how am I not going to want to fight violence with violence? How am I going to get my freedom? It's not by saying I'm sorry. It's not by shaking hands or hugging. So I do think that we're going to retaliate till we get our point across.
Mr. Blake?
Absolutely. It's only natural, quite frankly. I look forward to it.
Do you believe, Mr. Blake, God would condone bombing a church?
Sure. You're fighting your enemies. You understand the meaning of the phrase, by any means necessary? Because this is exactly the context in which we're living in. They have their agenda, we have ours. The only thing that we happen to have in common is that same phrase, by any means necessary.
Would you care to elaborate what you mentioned now about agenda? The difference of agendas, yours versus theirs.
I mean, isn't it obvious? They're fighting for their own people, we're fighting for ours. Now, let's just say we're just putting this in simplest terms. I don't have time to go into detail on either our agendas. One, because I'm not going to give you that information on our part, and I just don't understand their agenda enough to speak on it.
Ms. Cross, care to comment on the question? The question was, the question was, do you believe God would condone bombing a church?
Absolutely not. I don't agree that God would condone bombing a church. However, what I do believe is that sometimes there has to be certain things that happen and certain sacrifices to get people to understand, you know, that this is getting out of hand. So sometimes we may not understand what, God is doing, so maybe it may have taken for these young girls to lose their lives for the community and for even our enemies to see that, this is becoming an issue. This is too far now. 4 young women, lost their lives. So I think that sometimes things happen, to get everyone's attention.
This is our final question. We'll start with Ms. Davis. What would it take to have peace among the races of America?
Well, I don't believe that there will ever be peace, but I do believe that there will be some type of understanding and justification between the two. Coming from a place where, when I was raised, I was in the same position as these little girls. And now to look at something as though having to go to a church and see the limbs, pieces of these little girls who lost their lives as a result to a race of people who wanted to make a statement that is unintellectually not understandable. I believe that there will never be peace if this is something that we have to deal with on a consistent basis. Fighting violence with violence, waking up to violence, going to sleep, eating, breathing.
Mr. Blake, what would it take to have peace among the races in America?
I believe, sir, that is something that is unattainable. Listen, there's a war going on outside. You might want to open your eyes, boy.
Care to elaborate more?
As far as that statement,
Yes, sir.
it's pretty obvious. We ain't gonna get along. Point blank. Their culture and our culture is just not meant to mix. As it says in a good book. You just ain't supposed to do it. So, that is exactly why I believe that peace among the races will never and has never existed.
This is Joseph Whitaker for ABC. Once again, my thoughts go out to the families of the Birmingham bombing. I'd like to thank Ms. Julia Cross, Ms. Angela Davis, and Mr. Jacob